Hey guys, going to do a quick video here about this stuff I picked up at the shop today. So I have a company that I pick up from and they give me a call every time that they get stuff like this. It's air conditioners, furnaces, stuff like that. So they gave me a call and they had this giant air conditioner. This thing here is from the boiler that is back there. It's just from that boiler. So this there's a couple of these synchronous motors on here, and I've sold these motors before on eBay for about 25 each, 25 or more, and they sell very quickly. Here are some of the tools that I'll be using today. So these are just basic tools like lots of slotted screwdrivers, things that you might need like hammers and wrenches, well, channel locks, stuff like that, vice grips. So you just want to have different kinds of tools on hand, especially cutters and pliers. What I like to do too is have more than one drill set up. So I'll have a drill set up with just the Phillips bit on it, and then I'll have another drill with these nut drivers. Okay, there's the first motor. Looks good. So there's usually some part numbers on these things. See, there'll be some part numbers on the side here that you can reference online and find out what they're selling for online. And then you can sell a used one for a little bit less than the newer ones will sell for. Yeah, it's unfortunate this one has a little crack in it though. So the rest is just scrap. So I'll take this piece off here. It's just brass, and that piece is brass, and that piece is brass. So you got to take that off, and then you have copper number 2. It's copper 2 because it has lots of soldering on it. Alright, so I cleaned off this with, got all the screws off, and now I'm just left with brass and copper. So I'm just going to show you guys how I like to clean this off, and it involves a hatchet, and you can use any kind of hard surface, but I like to use, I have a little anvil here. You can even use like the ground, pavement, whatever. So I just like to just give it a good whack right there. Okay, and then once you have it broken, you can just rip it right off like that. Okay, that would be number 1 copper because there's no soldering on it, and that would be number 2. Now yes, of course, you could probably get a piece of number 1 copper right there, with the no soldering. Not worth your time, really. It's just like a couple, maybe like 10 cents more than between copper 1 and copper 2, so it's not really worth your time. Brass and copper, not too bad. There we go. So we'll just cut the cables off. So that's my this is my bin setup. So I have one bin for just shred steel, another one for insulated copper, and that's just insulated copper number 2. That's the stuff that is not worth stripping. Copper and brass, that's a little bit of aluminum, and there's a motor in there as well. I'll just leave that there. So yeah, there's motors and aluminum, and then of course you should have a garbage bin as well, because you will get some garbage out of all this stuff. Alright, so we're getting set to tackle this here. This is the heaviest part of this whole thing here. This is the compressor. It's got a big motor inside here, and some yards will give you a copper bearing price or an electric motor price for this. Some yards may not take them at all, so make sure you check with your local scrapyard to see if they will take it. And I'm getting a good price for them. I get about 15 cents a pound for compressors, and this one's big. And I'm going to put it on a scale. Maybe it will be heavier than what my scale can handle, but we'll see how much it weighs. Usually, like there's some compressors over there. Those are usual typical size you will see are those compressors from an air conditioning unit. But this one here is probably, I say at least over a foot tall, maybe like 14 or 15 inches tall. So first things first, I'm going to take off this copper, and again, we're going to use the hatchet. So I just unscrewed some bolts here from this. This clamp here was holding on this piece of copper. So I have first piece of nice copper and brass from this thing. So all I have to do here is go back onto the anvil and cut that copper off, and this one as well, cut that off as well. And then you got a nice big piece of copper. And you can cut it off right here, because as you can see right there, that would be soldering. And same with this side, so that would be soldering as well. So you can cut that off, and then the rest of it will be number 1 copper. And next here, I just have a big 1/2-inch ratchet with 2 extension bars and a 13mm socket. I'm going to get this big giant compressor off here. So there's 4 bolts on the bottom, and you got to undo each one. Okay, ready to take this thing out. Got all the bolts undone. Now this thing is going to be really heavy, so I have a strap here and hooked up onto this clamp here. And so I'm going to try and lift it out. Just want to be careful that this doesn't hit your toe. And I'm just going to drop it onto this pan here. There we go. Not too bad. So there's the weight right there. It's about 75 pounds. And see the kilograms. 34 kilos. Very heavy thing. So I'll put up how much that would be worth, because I get about 15 cents a pound for this thing. Not too bad. There we have it. This thing's ready to come out. It's all been unscrewed. And this is a aluminum copper rad. So there's a lot of, it's very valuable. You have a $1.14 a pound for this, $1.15. I just like to flatten it out. There we have it. That's a big one. That's like 10 feet long. This is the contactor switch from that air conditioner. As you can see here, that's two different air contactors. So what you can do is, oops, of course it just falls down there. Found it. But that is a silver contact there. So it has some silver in it. Some of them have more than others. Some of them don't have any silver at all. What you want to do is just collect them all, and then you can process them eventually, like what I do. So I have them, every time I get these contactors, I take the silver contacts off. There's another one. And there's these 4 in here you can try and get. Now this is a really old contactor, so it's not worth reselling, but you can, I still find good ones that are worth reselling sometimes in these air conditioners. All right, there's 1. There's 2. Come on. There's 3. Okay, there's 4. So I took them off. All right, so I just keep collecting these guys. So I'll put them in my little collection here. You can see I got quite a few. Not too sure what I'm going to do with it yet. So this last piece that I have here, this is a water boiler. And I get a lot of these from this shop here. A lot of good copper in this thing here. There's also a circulator pump down there, and that's good for parts too, if it works fine. So I'm just going to take this all apart, and we'll see how much copper and brass we get out of it. So as you can see here, made some pretty good progress. Stripped out all the copper and brass. This is most of it here. We got a gas valve, and that's worth nothing. I got a whole bunch of those on eBay right now. They're not selling at all. But this circulator motor, I have sold those before. They're nice. You just want to sell the cast pump as well. A whole bunch of brass and copper there. And then I have this piece down here too. Brass and copper. Now the best part is yet to come. Just getting ready to pull it out. It's this guy here. This is just pure copper. That's all copper there. So let's try and take it out. It's not screwed in at all, but it is hard to get out. There. I made that look easy because I loosened it up quite a bit. Yeah, so that's it. So it's just like an aluminum copper rad. It has metal plates here that you have to cut off. But so you just take a circular saw, you cut off these end pieces, and that goes as copper too. The whole thing is copper too. But yeah, then these are cut off as well. Then you can knock off the end plates. Yeah, this whole thing is copper. It's really heavy. And I'll show you how much, wherever that scale went to. It's around 8 pounds of copper, 8 or 9 pounds. That is 3.9 kilos. This is another thing that you get out of this boiler unit. This is just a great big piece of stainless steel. So it's all stained. Let's go weigh that. So we got 1 kilo of stain, which is about 2 pounds. 2.2 pounds. Alright guys, I'm all done here, and it took me about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get all this stuff done, just to scrap out that air conditioner and this hot water boiler. But made some good money from all the copper. I'll show you what I've gotten so far from all this stuff. So that's just shred steel. That's the water boiler. That's going as shred steel, and that's shred steel there. So that's not very much money, but yeah, that's shred, and that's just insulated copper wire. There's all the copper and the brass down there. More copper and brass, electric motors, and stainless with a little bit of aluminum. And here are just a few parts that I'm going to try and resell. And then we got the aluminum copper rads, very big ACRs, and then of course that one compressor over there. So yeah, it kind of gives you a gauge about how much stuff you can get and how much money you can make on something like this. Yeah, one of the questions I always get asked about on the channel is like, how did I get this kind of contact? Basically, I was approached by the manager there to pick up scrap. But if you're looking to do this, you know, and you're committed, just start opening up the yellow pages and giving companies cold calling. You know, just call them up on the phone, say, do you need a scrap metal guy? Worst thing they could say is no thank you, and then you just move on to the next one. Just don't don't try and get too many, don't get overloaded. Like, you might even get really motivated and call like 5 places and commit to 5 different companies. I think you'd be overextending yourself a bit. You know, I only have one place, and I get so much stuff just from one place. This is all I can handle. They give me all the scrap I need. If you have like a crew working for you, then I'm sure you could handle more places. But yeah, what will happen, I think, is that most of these companies will want you to go to their job site to pick up scrap, so that they don't have to haul it. You know, they don't have to bring it back to their workshop or whatever. So they would probably want you to go to their work site. It might be okay for you if you're in the city. You know, it could be anywhere, right? So you may be traveling half an hour or more just to go get a little bit of scrap. So what I do is I just get it all in one. They just bring it back to their shop, and I pick it up from them from there. So that works best for me. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. I try to answer every single one eventually. I'm always really busy, so it may take 1 or 2 days for me to get to all the messages, but I do my best to answer every single one. And make sure you subscribe if you're new, and hit the like button, and we'll see you next time, okay? Thanks a lot for watching.